Tom Sherwood?
I want to go back to the issue of crime inside the Beltway in Prince George's County. I've asked virtually every person from Prince George's County about this.
And the biggest story, of course, this week in Prince George's County is the murder of a state trooper in the county. Anthony Milton has been charged in the first-degree murder in the shooting of Trooper Wesley Brown. You remember the story?
At the Applebee's.
Brown was working off-duty at Applebee's, and when he was shot and killed.
And there's a very strong view that a lot of the crime that used to be plaguing the District of Columbia is seeping over and moving into Prince George's County. One, do you agree with that concern? If so, what would you do about it as county executive?
First of all, I want to express my condolences to that family. I would say this. I've outlined 2 steps on crime. I had a big gang prosecution law that the governor signed a little.
Before that, do you agree the perception? I mean, or the reality that a lot of the crime that used to be plaguing parts of the district has now moved into Prince George's County?
I mean, sure, I can agree with that, but I don't think it really matters.
One city leader said,
our approach.
I'm very happy for all the crime to start moving in that direction out of our jurisdiction.
Well, I think there's crime in both jurisdictions, and they've grabbed the headlines as much as we have over the last months or this year, and I think it's our approach. What do we do about it? And that's the key. And I've outlined, I had a big gang prosecution law that the governor signed a little over a month ago, for which I am legislator of the year of the Maryland state's attorneys, the state prosecutors this year. And I've also said this, listen, I'm tough as nails on crime, but I also believe we have to get back into the rehabilitation business. I've also passed a couple of laws on ex-offender reentry. We release about 15,000 folks a year from our state correctional facilities. About half are rearrested within 3 years. We have to bring that rearrest rate down, that is a decided policy direction we have to take.
But people who oppose you criticize you for voting against HB 700, the bill that sought to alter the standard of proof for issuing a final protective order from clear and convincing evidence to a preponderance of the evidence. We have debated that issue several times here on the broadcast. Your opponents say you voted against that bill, and that your vote against that bill causes Maryland to continue to be the only state in the U.S. to require such a high standard for issuance of protective orders. This usually happens in the case of alleged spousal abuse.
Well, I am very proud of my record on protecting domestic violence victims. I have sponsored, co-sponsored, and supported at least 17 laws providing greater protections to domestic violence victims, taking handguns away from abusers, lengthening the term of domestic violence protective orders, providing critical funding for domestic violence programs. So, I believe my record on the topic is unassailable. What I would say about domestic violence protective orders is 2 things. We still have to be fair. And the fact is, the current law in Maryland is this. If you are simply accused of domestic violence, whether you've had an opportunity to present your side of the case, man or woman, that accusation is on your record for life. It's available to employers. It is available to landlords. It's available to you and me by a search on the internet, on Maryland Case Search. And before we label a person in such a way, I think we ought to give them a fair and due process of the law. So that was my concern with the lowering the standard. I will also mention this, that in the last 6 months of last year, there were over 16,000 domestic violence protective order petitions filed. And out of that, just a little over 700 were denied because the victim could not, the alleged victim could not meet that standard of proof. So that is a very small number, and I haven't found a state in this country, regardless of their standard of proof, that can beat that number.